Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the DB podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Pinto. And unlike all the episodes from before, this episode is going to be a solo podcast, so it's just going to be me. And I'm just going to be talking about things that I find interesting that have happened this week or in my life or, so on and so forth. But first thing I want to talk about is actually something that's positive. I actually started following the subreddit Wall Street Bets, and for those who don't know, they're part of the group of people that made the GameStop stock price go up like drastically. And I actually bought some GameStop like a week or two ago, and I bought it at like $250, and it went up to $290. But I was like, no, I'm not gonna sell it. I'm just gonna keep it and wait and see what happens. But it's down as of today. Like, it's the weekend, and it closed at $200. So if you guys are trying to buy, it's probably going to go up. So as of when this podcast comes out, you guys can still get in on it. So yeah, who knows how high it's going to go, but we'll see. But anyways, when it comes to this subreddit Wall Street Bets, something that's interesting was about a week and a half ago. You can post all kinds of different things. Like, people like to post like them losing money, like losing thousands of dollars over stocks, and it's like losing stock porn is what they call it, right? But one positive thing that happened is someone posted that they adopted a gorilla from a foundation, and the reason they did this is because on Wall Street Bets, they have their own like language of calling each other. Like, they call each other retards and they call each other apes. And because they call each other apes very often, and they're considered apes, like the people in Wall Street Bets, they're all apes. So this one guy adopted an ape and called it like the GameStop, like GME, right, the name of the stock. And then somebody else started buying one, and a bunch of people started following suit and buying them. And after about 6 days, they ended up adopting over 3,000 apes and making over $300,000 for the foundation. And when I was on Wall Street Bets, I also saw people posting like people adopting wolves, people donating to other wildlife conservations for like elephants, other things. So it's like, I can only imagine how much money people on Wall Street Bets were donating. And everybody was saying they were using the money that they made off of GameStop to donate this money back. So it's a very wholesome, very nice thing to see. You don't see that kind of behavior very often on the internet. It's usually very destructive, to say the least. But talking about stocks, something that I found very interesting. I don't know if you guys have heard about this thing. It's called an NFT. It stands for a non-fundable token, and they just started becoming very popular, and people are just buying them and selling them left and right. And what they are is they're a cryptocurrency, like how you think of like Bitcoin. But what it is it's just like a one-of-a-kind token. So, for example, maybe like a week or two ago, Lindsay Lohan made a token, and she was selling it for 17 grand, and someone bought it. And it's like, oh, okay, they bought this token for $17,000, but it's like, what's the value in it? There's no value. Someone just paid $17,000 to buy this digital currency, and it's like, what was the point in that, right? And there's a bunch of other celebrities doing this, and it just seems like a big scheme to make money, right? I mean, Logan Paul, if you know that famous YouTuber. He made his own of him looking like a Pokemon card and sold it for like 50 grand or something like that. And it's just ridiculous to me, because I'm like, why are you buying this? There's no point in doing this, right? Why are you buying these tokens that mean nothing? Like, Elon Musk tweeted a couple days ago, he made his NFT song, and he's making an NFT of it so you can buy it. And I'm like, see, there's like, it seems like just a meme, like just a joke. What's the point in buying this? Like, if I made an NFT of myself and I try to sell it for 10 grand, like, nobody's gonna buy it. But if I'm, like Matthew McConaughey or something, then maybe it'll sell, right? But the way I understand it behind the value for it. After doing some research, is people are kind of looking at it as like they're valuing it as like a piece of art. Because for example, when you get a piece of art of Van Gogh, there's only like one of a kind of that art piece of Van Gogh, right? So that's like serial number 00001. So you're putting the value in that, like a piece of art. So what you're doing is with that NFT is you're looking at the value through the fact of its how limited it is, right? So there's like, oh, only one Lindsay Lohan token, and she has it. She made it. It's hers, and now she's selling it for 17 grand. It's like, oh wow, this Lindsay Lohan token. It's like a piece of art, I guess, in a way. That's the way I'm just comparing it. I'm not. Again, this is just my way of understanding it. If you want to know more, you could definitely look more into it. I'm just an ape, and anyways, so you're basically buying it because of that, and because it's digital, there's a paper trail as to, okay, this person bought it for this much and then sold it for that much and sold it for that, so you can kind of see the value of it versus like, oh, this person's willing to buy it for $2 versus this one bought it for 100,000 or something, and that kind of shows the place of where it's worth or what someone's willing to pay for it, and just like art, it's very interesting to me. But I mean, I gotta look a little bit more into it as to what's going on with that. And anyways, but enough of that like boring cryptocurrency and GameStop stuff. But I actually finished the Woody Allen documentary. I don't know if you guys have seen it on HBO. It's called Woody v. Pharaoh. It's a documentary about Woody Allen and about his child abuse case and him also marrying his stepdaughter. And see, I knew that he married his stepdaughter. Like, that seemed like a running joke amongst my friends, like, or something just like that you just know, like, oh, Michael Jackson touches kids. Like, whether you know who he is or not, it's just something that's just attached to who they are. But you don't think much of it. And this documentary goes into a case that I didn't know, which was a child abuse case, which was he was sexually assaulting or sexually abusing his 8-year-old daughter, and even years before that. But when the case came to trial, she was 8. Or actually, she never talked on the stand, so it never went through to trial. So they could never condemn him for that. But it's just crazy to see that like Woody Allen got away with this for so long, but luckily this Me Too movement is starting to get him. But you should definitely watch this documentary. It really shows you like how much of a like a scumbag he is. I mean, if you love his movies, you'll notice that it's always like a very grown, mature man with a very young underage girl falling in love. And it seems that he plays that out in real life. I guess art plays itself out, as they say, right? And it's just like very disturbing to hear like this 8-year-old's recounts, and you can hear the tapes of Woody and the mom, Mia Farrow, talking to each other, and how Woody is just trying to be super dodgy. And he's just really just trying to attack this woman and go on the offense, and it's a very heart-wrenching story just to see what this girl's gone through and had to go through, and she has her own. Luckily, like in the last episode, it shows you like what her life is like now, and you get to see that she's kind of still coping with it, but she has her own daughter. And she's married, but it's she's trying to still put this guy in, and I'm like, man, like, yeah, fuck Woody Allen. Yeah, if you ever see that documentary, check it out. But another thing that came out on HBO that was very interesting is the Justice League movie, and if you guys watch movies, you'd be like, Justice League, that's weird. Because the Justice League movie already came out. It's like, yeah, it did. It came out in 2017, but people petitioned for Zack Snyder, the original director of the movie, and then it was passed to Joss Whedon. Excuse me, drinking some water. So, sorry. The original movie was being directed by Zack Snyder, and then he backed away. And then Joss Whedon, the guy who directed like Avengers and Avengers: Age of Ultron, he came in and kind of made his own little 2 hour and a half cut of the movie. But Zack Snyder originally wanted 4 hours. But the reason Zack Snyder moved away from the film was because his daughter committed suicide. So he left, for personal reasons. It's understandable, right? And so Joss Whedon took over and made the film. And the end product, the Justice League movie, like the original one, I saw it with my sister because she had gotten like a torrented version of it, and it wasn't that great. It was like I only saw the last 45 minutes of it, and I thought it was pretty atrocious. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I thought it was pretty terrible, like it was a joke. And I was kind of very skeptical about hearing about this new Justice League movie coming out because a bunch of fans had petitioned, and including the actors and Zack Snyder, the director himself, had petitioned to get his version of the movie out. And it actually did. It came out. It came true, and he ended up making his own 4 hour cut and having to hire the actors back and reshoot a couple of things. But this end product came out. It's a 4 hour long movie, and for me, 4 hours is a little too long. I haven't seen the first. The Avengers: Infinity War or Endgame, and I know both of those. I think are 3 hours long or something, and I'm like, it's so long. It's hard for me to sit through something like that. But I ended up, because it's at home, I ended up separating it out. And the movie's actually broken up into 7 chapters. So I watched like 3 and then 3, and then I ate dinner and like ate another. And then I watched the last part. But I after watching it, I have to say, it's much better than the original from what I from what I saw from the original. Everything I saw from Justice League, this new one is much better, but it's okay in my opinion. It's not bad, but it's not great. There's definitely some of the added scenes don't always transfer over so well to me. For example, the way I see Barry Allen, which is the Flash, his character introduced, is very sympathetic. He meets his dad who's in jail and is like, oh, and spoiler alert for anybody, sorry. And he ends up talking to his dad, and it's very sentimental. But then when he meets Batman in like the very next scene, it's he seems very very jokey. Doesn't very lighthearted. It didn't have that centeredness, that gravitas that I was feeling with the character throughout those scenes and his other introductory scene, where it kind of had some comical stuff, but it's just there's little things like that. But I mean, there are a lot of positives too, like the way Wonder Woman's introduced is great. Cyborg's character, like the character development with him, or there is character development because the original movie, from what I understand, didn't have any. It is funny to see some things that like makes you kind of appreciate the Marvel movies, because you see certain. My brain just works overtime when I watch movies. Sometimes, like I can't just turn my brain off. Like if you watch Justice League and you turn your brain off, I'm sure you'll enjoy it. But I see certain things and I just think it's funny. Like I see Wonder Woman, Flash, Cyborg, and Batman. They have to go up to a some building or something, and they have to take the stairs, right? But Wonder Woman can literally jump up. Cyborg can fly. Flash is fast. He can get up there in not even a second. Not even half a second. And they're just following Batman like up there, and I'm just imagining them just like talking to each other, like, "Hey, we can get up there faster." He's like, "Oh, blah blah blah." I'm like, what kind of awkward conversation are they having up there? But that's just like stupid shit that my brain just goes through. But I would recommend you check it out, if you're into those superhero movies. But if you pass it, I don't think you're missing anything. You're missing out on anything. But if you check it out, it may be an enjoyable watch for you. Nice little popcorn flick. Maybe watch half or watch a couple intro parts and then watch the rest with someone else or something, you know. Uh, but you know, I recently started college. Well, I went to school for music, but that's not like real school. And I mean, none of those credits transfer over to actual community college or universities or any California State universities or anything like that. But I'm going to college, and it's my first time doing online classes on top of that because of the pandemic. And it's very strange to be doing school online because I'm not taking any notes. I haven't A in all my classes. I'm only doing 3 classes because I'm also working full time on top of school. But I'm not taking any notes. I mean, it's the first quarter semester, so I don't expect it to be too hard. But it's just very interesting to see how it is. I mean, I'm not doing any Zoom meetings. It's all just they just give me the work or the assignments for the week, and then I just work at my own pace and do what I can. And which is really great for me, honestly, like because I work 8 to 5, and a lot of the school schedules are in that time frame. So I would either have to do night courses, which not all of my classes offer, or I would just have to bite the bullet and not do it. So this whole pandemic kind of helped me in that situation. But I can definitely feel for students when they're doing harder classes because in the summer I'm going to be taking calculus and my programming classes, and I can only imagine how it is for people who learn better being in that class environment, like hands on. Because I know I have friends that do that or learn better that way, and it's just they're having a tough time with it. While for me, I'm just like, okay, like you give me the work, I'll read what I have. Give me the assignment, write an essay about this. Okay, cool, I'll do it. Versus other people will just need more of a hands-on approach, or I don't know, more visual. And I can see how it can be difficult, but it's just weird to me because in high school, to me, my junior year and senior year of high school are way harder than this college, my first year of college so far. Just in the sense of having to go to lectures, having to write notes, having to study all the material, then be quizzed on it. Like I took AP US history in my junior year. And I remember I was getting like D's on all those exams because we'd have to read the chapters so much, learn so much information. And then I do like my computer systems class, and we also have a chapter, and we read it and do everything. And then we take a chapter quiz, and it's like 10 questions. And I'm like, oh, this is pretty chill, pretty simple. But I don't know if that's because it's that kind of online learning that it's just kind of slacked off, or COVID. I don't know. This is my first time doing it, but it definitely seems to me that because of the amount of I guess less benefits that we get for enrolling into school, but it's a pandemic, so no classes, no this, no that, no on campus facilities. Maybe it should be a little cheaper. It seems to me. It seems weird that they're charging the same price to students when they're not getting the same amount of benefits. It's like, hey, if you had to pay full price for a car, but then there's no car seats in it, you'd be like, hey, what's going on, right? So same thing here is what I'm thinking. But I don't know what they're gonna do with that, but probably nothing. I mean, the pandemic's coming, but this summer is supposed to be online too. I'm curious how long that's going to take, especially with the vaccine coming out, and apparently by July, according to Biden, will be all out and about. Something interesting about Biden, actually, not to get political, I guess, but I mean, just something I found funny, or not funny, but interesting, was the Taliban basically telling us to back off in Syria. They're like, hey, leave, do what Trump said and leave your troops. Even though Trump still had like 6,000 troops or something. And basically was telling Biden, don't interfere because we're allies with Saudi Arabia, and we're we're basically gonna help them out. And he's like, if you meddle with this, we're gonna attack you, but we're giving you the chance now to leave in peace. And I'm just like, man, do we really need this? But I mean, war is a good economy. I have friends that program for U.S. contracted arms companies. And I mean, hey, this is good money for them, puts food on their table. Kind of a weird dilemma in that way, right? I mean, what do you do? Like, war is terrible. It's terrible that it's killing people, but luckily it's not happening in our land. And because of that, we don't have to see the negative repercussions of it, and we get to reap the benefits of having people that work in that industry. Raytheon, Northrop, Boeing makes planes for the Army. It's kind of a weird thing. I don't know. I guess you just remove yourself from it, right? You just don't think twice about it. That's kind of like, I guess, going back to the comic books. That's like the whole Tony Stark dilemma, Iron Man dilemma, right? With in the first movie where he sees that the weapons he made are that were made to protect soldiers are actually now being turned against them to kill them, and he just it's hard for him to live with that. I mean, talk about like weird dilemma, because I mean that's still plaguing us today. I mean, even with the pandemic, the war's still going, and that's not stopping anytime soon. And I hope everybody's gotten their stimulus checks. I got mine. I haven't spent it on anything besides bills, so it's all, it's all good. Using it for good stuff. And you know what? I think we're gonna keep this as a maybe a mini podcast. If we do solo podcast, maybe just keep it at a half hour. Or yeah, that sounds good to me. Because this is my first time doing it. It's a lot easier to bounce off someone else and talk about ideas and stuff like that. But we'll just talk about a couple other topics that I've just thought about or saw that were interesting. Like I don't know if anybody is into comedy. There's this comedian who a lot of people think is not funny. A lot of people think he is, but regardless, his name's Chris D'Elia. He was on the show, Workaholics. He was on You, where he played like a stalker pedophile dude. And he last year, back in like June, he was Chris D'Elia, the comedian, was accused of like talking and sexually harassing minors, and he claims against it. But anyways, it kind of he got into the Me Too movement, got canceled. Fast forward to a couple weeks ago, he posted a video basically on his YouTube saying that he apologizes and how he's sorry about everything. And I was like, okay, interesting. It seemed I thought it was insincere. There's other people who don't. And I was like, okay, it seems like he has an issue and he's trying to deal with it. But I think the next day after he posted the video, a lawsuit from one of his accusers came out against him. So some people speculating that, hey, what do you think might have caused him to release that video, because he just had a lawsuit come out. Do you think he was just kind of trying to like cushion the impact of the lawsuit, or was he sincere about it? What was going on? So there's a lot of speculation going on with that in his career. But I mean, like, hey, like, I want to know whether he did it or not. I mean, if he didn't do it, cool. Like, let's move on. If he did, then sucks for him, man. He's gotta face the punishment, man. But anyways, we'll leave a comment and like, subscribe. Let us know what you think about Chris D'Elia and his little shenanigans. Let us know what you think about NFTs. Is it just a little social craze, or is it something that's going to actually have worth and be a part of the currencies, and be alongside Bitcoin and Ethereum, things like that. Let me know what you thought about Justice League. Was it a good movie? Was it a bad movie? Was it whatever? Or was it just way too fucking long because it's 4 hours long? I'll leave a comment. Let me know. Anyways, this has been the DP Podcast. Have a good one. Peace out.
Well, I stand up next to a mountain, drop down with the edge of my hand. Well, I stand up next to a mountain, drop down with the edge of my hand. Well, I pick up all the pieces and I make an island.